it's Jane Madej, and welcome to Journal Like an Artist. Today we are going to talk about inspiration for a journal page, and I'm going to go through the process of creating one of my journal pages for you. So what I've already sketched this out just loosely in pencil, just as a time saver. I'm working in an Art Journalive square journal. And some of the supplies I've got a ruler, I've got a Pigma Micron pen. You want to use a waterproof fine liner pen. I've got a paintbrush that is a Silver Brush Ultra Mini Designer Round. And I have assorted watercolors and Faber-Castell markers all set up here and ready to go. So when you're talking about doing or when you're thinking about doing a journal page, sometimes people ask me where to find inspiration. You know, some days you have something that happens that's very exciting, and so you want to jot that down in your journal and record that. But other days, things are going kind of slow, and you just don't know how to be inspired to create a page. So one of the things I like to do when I'm having a day like that is I think about lists. You can make a journal page that is based on a list of what is inspiring you right now, or things that are your favorite, like your favorite clothes or favorite food. That's a good way to fill up a journal page and get some drawing and writing practice in. So this page that I'm doing right now is what I am inspired by. And right now I'm inspired by the color pink. And I think that's because it is the end of January and I am starting to think about spring, and Valentine's Day is coming up, and spring is, and pink is just a warm and happy color for me. I'm wearing a pink shirt today. So I think I'll use a pink marker to write that. I have these Emot pens. These are fine liner colored pens that are waterproof. So I like using these. So we'll draw the word pink with a pink pen, and we'll make that nice and big so that stands out. I usually use just block capitals when I write because that's easier for me to keep it tidy, and it's easier to read than if I was using cursive or something like that. And I like working in a dot journal because that helps me keep everything straight, and it helps me with my composition and layout. So one of the things that I've really been enjoying right now, I journal about food a lot. I like good food. And right now, I have been enjoying mochi, which I don't know if you know what that is, but they are these little ice cream bonbons that are covered with a rice sort of pastry, and they come in beautiful colors. Last night I had a passion fruit one that was just really beautiful, and I've got some pink strawberry ones, and I'm enjoying the ice cream, and I'm enjoying the beautiful colors that the mochi comes in. So let's put those in there. And I'm going to write the word yum because they're yummy. And also you can put little things like that, like a little extra word. I'm going to do it on this side too. Helps fill in some of the empty blank spaces around the page if you want to do that too. So I'm going to draw a pink colored pencil up here to go with the pink. So I'm going to use a ruler. I like using these clear plastic rulers because you can see through them to the drawing underneath. So let's get that in there. Here we go. Oops, that's not straight. Let's straighten that up a little bit. And right now I am wearing my favorite pink chicken sweater. I happen to like chickens. So we're going to draw that there. And to fill in the space over here, I'm just going to write yippee, because it's a happy day. Hooray! So that's, I'm just going to draw the chicken in a little bit better so that I know what I'm doing. So here we go. Let's draw a chicken. There's his face. Here's the comb, or her face. The comb on top of her head, her tail, and her feet. I like to draw everything out in pencil so that I know what I'm doing before I go to the pen stage. And if I was trying to be real precise about an animal or a bird, I would look at a picture, but this is just a doodle of a chicken. So we don't have to worry too much if that's super precise. So here we'll write what that is. People sometimes ask me how long it takes me to create a journal page, and so this will be a good experiment to see how long this takes. So let's see what I've got here. I'm going to draw my pink scissors that I've got here because I love my stationery supplies. So we're going to draw, let's make that like that. Scissors are kind of hard to draw. And then we'll do this one. Like that. So there we go. And they've got pink rubber handles. So we'll draw that and color those pink. Well, now I've got a space here inside the angle of the scissors, and I'm just going to fill that with hearts because hearts are pink and red too. I do a lot of things on my pages where I have just little fillers, like you can see on this page here. I've got little fillers with stars and hearts and water droplets and stuff, just to keep the page colorful and to fill the spaces and to direct your eye through the page. I think little elements like that are fun to add. And so I'm going to draw a pink crayon here. I don't use crayons, but that can symbolize arts and crafts supplies, and it's something else that is pink. So let's put that in there. It's okay to think of something that's kind of an easy representation of what you're trying to talk about. I'm trying to talk about art supplies on this section, and a crayon is a really easy and recognizable thing to draw. So when you're making your pages, think about things that can be just a representation. It doesn't have to be absolutely specific. I think maybe while I'm at it, talking about filling things in, I'm just going to draw a little flower right here. That's an empty space, so we'll add a flower right there. So, pink stationery products. I have a bad habit of pressing down really hard on my pens. I'm trying to stop myself from doing that. I don't need to drive the pen all the way through the paper, and it means that I wear my pens out faster than I want to. And so over here, I want a curved shape to guide your eye through the page, so I'm going to draw a branch with pink flowers on it. So think about your shapes when you are designing your journal page. Think about ways to guide your eye around the page. I've got the word yippee, and the sleeve here are curved, and that's going to guide you down through these flowers that are curved, and then you're going to come this is going to be a paint tube down here, and so that faces that way, and then that goes up. The scissors direct your eye up, and then you've got the curve of the mochi again to send your eye this way. So your eye is being directed around the page. That's my little composition lesson for today. So there we go. And these aren't supposed to be really a terribly specific kind of flower. They could be apple blossoms, or they could be wild roses. This is just a drawing that indicates flowers. So there we go. And notice I'm varying the sizes of the leaves. That adds more interest to your page if you get some variety in there, rather than if you make everything the same size. And you can really make a flower branch. It can go whatever direction you want, however far you want it to go. It's a really good tool for making shapes and spaces. So there we go with that. So we'll write that. That is pink. flowers. One of the things I like about these Pigma Micron pens is that they dry really quickly, so I don't worry about it smearing with my hand or with my eraser. Now over here, I'm going to draw a tube of pink hand lotion because it is winter, and boy, oh boy, I go through a lot of lotion in the winter. Running the heat really is very drying, so we'll just draw a little tube here. Drawing containers like tubes and jars and bottles, that can be fun in your journal because you get to decorate them and label them however you want, and so you can make something that's very pretty if you feel like it. So on this one, I'm going to draw a flower. Let's make a really big flower on there, on the label. And we will add a stem and some leaves. So that's some nice scented hand lotion there. And the other thing got to put down here is pink paint because I am drawing and coloring a whole page about pink. So we've got to put that on there. So there's the paintbrush. And I'm going to draw, this is like the splash of paint coming out. So that's the pink. Pink paint. This is another fun device that you can use to add color to your pages. If you're drawing a pencil or pen or paintbrush, draw a colored space that is coming out of that pen or brush to put your lettering in. And so that makes a colored space that you can letter in. Because I like my pages to have lots of color. So now I've got the ink part done. So let's erase those pencil lines from underneath. This is just a plain white plastic eraser, nothing fancy. Let's see, I'm still, making sure I'm still on the camera there. Okie doke. Get all that. Okay, and now we get ready to add the color. Oh, I'm just going to get a drink because I've been doing a lot of talking. So one thing that I think is handy to have is some kind of scrap paper sheet for testing colors on before you apply them to your paper, just to make sure that the color is what you think it is, because markers especially can be a little bit deceiving. You look at the color on the cap and that isn't necessarily the color that you're going to get. So let's start with, I tend to just move around the page as I feel like it. And generally what I do is I do my base color with the markers, and then I can go on top of that with the watercolors to add shading and highlights and stuff like that. And I'll also use watercolors for the base color if I don't have the right color marker that I want. And that's why I use these. These are Faber-Castell Pitt markers. These are waterproof markers, so you can paint on top of them with no problem. Sometimes I also use these Tombow brush markers, and these are not waterproof, but they come in lots of nice colors, and I really like to use them. So, you know, they go down really smooth and nice. So we'll go ahead and use some of that. So let's see, put some under the tube here. And put some under the paintbrush. I really like adding cast shadows under things because it makes it look a little bit more dimensional. It makes it look like it's both anchored to the page and raised up from it. So we'll just add a little bit of shading there. So, okay. Now what we want is different shades of pink. So let's try, what's this color? That's more red than pink, but it's a light red. So let's do at least a couple of the hearts with that. And let's see, let's make this one will be this color pink. That's a good one. And let's, here, we can do the hearts over here with that pink too. And let's see, I want more of a purpley pink for the berry mochi. So let's see, well, that's not really pink. Let's try this one. Okay, let's try this one. This is yet another brand of marker. I find it handy to have several different brands because that gives you more of a color range. And so these are Zig Brushables, and these are also waterproof. So let's get those in there. The thing I like about the Zig Brushables is they come, it's a different color on each end. So you'll have the lighter color on this end and then the darker color on that end. It's a brush on both ends. And so you're really getting twice as many colors in the set as you think you're getting. And so you can use the darker color to add a little bit of shading if you want to. And I'm still going to go over that with some watercolor. So here we go. Let's make this flower here be this darker color of pink. There we go. Now the sweater that I'm wearing, it's more of a peachy pink. So we'll use this one. Now let's see, we need to do the colored pencil up here. And so let's make that, what color is this one? Okay, we'll make this a really light pink. And the colored pencils that I have, they have this sort of band, metallic band at the end. So let's color that in. And I'm going to use a fairly dark gray because I made that little mistake right there. So that'll help make that less noticeable. So we're getting along pretty good there. Let's add a little shading and highlights to what we've done so far so that you can see how we do that. So I've got my paints here, and let's see. Let's add some shading like that to these guys. Notice how I made the shadow is a curved shape because they're curved bonbons. They're round. So we'll do that, and then I like to add highlights using gouache paint. Let's see if you can see that. This is Dr. Martin's Bleed Proof White, which is a kind of gouache, but you can also use paint markers. Like sometimes I use these. These are Archer and Olive acrylograph pens. You can use something like that for your highlights as well. So let's add a highlight like that, and one like that. And as long as I've got this open, let's go ahead and add the one to the colored pencil, even though we haven't shaded that yet. So I'll add a little bit to the sweater too. Oh, and we need to add some to the scissors, just as long as I've got this open. Okay. Now we'll do a bit more shading. So we want to shade that. There we go, and we want to make sure we shade the sweater here. Now, if you don't have watercolors, you can also use colored pencils. I use those. I also have water-soluble colored pencils. You can really use whatever you feel comfortable with. I want to show you the markers are not bleeding through to the other side of the page. So that's not something you need to worry about. If you use alcohol markers, they will bleed through, and you'll be less happy about that. So let's see, I've got these down here. What other colors of pink have I got? Oh yeah, this is a good pink. We'll use this. That's a little darker than my scissors are in real life, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be real life. There we go. And I think we need, for these flowers, I think we want to use the lighter pink. What color is this one? Yeah. No, I think we want to use this light one. Ooh. Sometimes if you don't erase the pencil completely, the marker will smudge the pencil a little bit, and that's kind of a shame when that happens. So we've got these. And let's do the flower centers. There we go. And I'm going to do the leaves while I let this marker dry, and then I'm going to show you about using, excuse me, these are water-soluble colored pencils. Just for fun, I'm going to show you how you can use those. So let's see, I need some greens for the leaves. I'm going to show you, I'm going to use more than one shade of green because that makes your drawing more interesting if you have a little bit of variety, if everything isn't exactly the same. So we'll use more than one shade of green. There we go. Let's go back to the lighter one. And we're going to draw the chicken here, so we're actually going to use, how dark of a red is that? We'll use more of a red there. And yellow for her beak. And then, there we go. She's kind of a golden color. There we go. Okay, I think the marker is dry enough on here. You want to make sure that your page isn't damp when you go back into it with colored pencils, because it will damage the surface of the paper if you try and go over it. So, so what you do with water-soluble pencils is you just color with them as if they're a normal pencil. like that. And then you can go back into it with a damp brush and it turns into watercolor. So you can go on top of it like that. So let's do these. We'll do these. All the shading like this. Okay. Normally when I'm doing a journal page, I wouldn't use this many different products. I'm just trying to show you what they look like and how they work, just to give you an idea. So we've got the leaves. Let's add some more variation there. This is going to be a long video. I hope you guys aren't getting bored. I usually try and keep my videos fairly short. Okay, so now we're going to go down here. Let's see what we've got here. We need to do the paintbrush. I think, let's see, because I've got this crayon to do and the brush and the lotion. When you're doing a page that's based all on one color, you have to kind of think about the darks and the lights being near to each other. You want to make the page balanced between darks and lights. So, we've got this crayon here. Why don't we make it the same pink that the sweater is? We can do that for the crayon. And then we've got a darker gray for the label stripes. And what color should we make the wrapper? I'm going through the colors I have here. Should it be this? No, that's too red. Well, let's make it this one. Just for the variety. Okay, and we'll make this flower down here the same. Let's add, we'll just go in and add a little more color. There we go. Now you'll notice here a drop of water fell, and that's the problem. This marker is not waterproof, and so it lifted it up. So I have to go back in and fill that in. Looks like the same thing happened up here. Here we go. Okay, so I've got to do the paintbrush and the paint splosh, and then I'm going to decide if I want to do any highlighting on the letters. Sometimes I like to add highlighting on top of the letters to add more colors to the pages, if you can see that. So let's get this back in place. So for the paintbrush, we need a pink handle on the paintbrush. What colors haven't I used yet? Have I used this one? Let's use this one. And for the actual paint, I'm going to use watercolor because I want to make it look washy. You know, I don't want it to be too solid, so we're just gonna make it look kind of washy. Use more than one color. Just to make that look more interesting. And we've got just a little bit more shading and highlighting to go, and then this page is going to be finished. So let's see, I think I do want to do a background behind that label. So see, I'm losing track of my markers now. Where's the one that I want? Is it this one? No, that one's too orange. Well, I've lost track of the one that I want to use next, so we will use this one. Sure, this works. Now, final shading and highlights. There we go. I'm just going to blow this with the hairdryer just to dry it off. Now we'll add the final highlights. That got too thick, but that's okay because you can just lift it off. Well, I hope you have enjoyed watching me create this page. Inspiration for a journal page can really come from anywhere, and if you are stumped thinking about what you want to draw, then just go ahead and illustrate a list. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you join me next time on Journal Like an Artist. Thanks a lot.